Keegan, just how good does it feel to be back here after being away for so long and have a game like that where the crowd's just crazy?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long 8 games. I think we hadn't won in like 2 weeks or something like that. So the fact that we were 4-13 and we had a crowd like that is just shows kind of how special Sacramento is, and they brought incredible energy. And to get 2 wins in a row when we were at our backs was big.
Uh, Keegan, you've been here to see kind of some of the low points already, just to feel that building like come to life the way it did tonight. Just how much does that mean, do you think, to this group and in terms of like driving you guys to maybe keep doing stuff like this?
Yeah, I think we hadn't really experienced that. Obviously, it's easy to be a little content with the win once you come back from a losing streak, but I feel like we brought a really good energy tonight. And I feel like guys have a standard now that shows how we win and why we win. And tonight was, I think, the perfect example of that.
Hey, Keegan, congrats on the win and welcome back.
Appreciate it.
But wanted to ask you about the rotation of you, Max, and Precious. It seems like you have a little bit more flexibility and energy on that front line. What are you seeing together?
I think we were just able to switch 1 through 5, which I feel like has been big for us because it makes us stay in our defense, our standard defense, and I think we held Minnesota like 101 points or something like that in 4 quarters, and I think we made it tough on them with our rotations, and Precious has been really good. I feel like he's gotten more comfortable the longer he's been here, and he was a spark plug for us for sure today.
Keegan, career high 15 rebounds tonight. With Domas out, just how big is it for you how much do you need to be that player?
Yeah, whether it's offense or defense, it's a big hole to fill because Domas is one of the best rebounders in the league. So it's a collective effort. We have a lot of athletic guys that can just fly and go grab rebounds, and I'm one of them. And tonight, obviously, had a couple offensive as well.
Keegan, obviously, this is just your third game back, but you seem to be, being a little more aggressive right now. What's your mindset? Has your mindset changed this season at the start of the junction of the season?
I think I just had a really good off season. I got away from Sacramento a little bit. I feel like I just kind of unlocked a different mindset going into this year, and obviously I couldn't really start the season. Obviously I missed a month to start, and for me it's just kind of finding my rhythm back, and each game I'm getting more comfortable on the court. So aggression is not really an issue for me this year.
You mentioned this being a good example of how you guys can win games. Where do you specifically sort of see that identity?
It's on the defensive end. I think it's how we turn defense into offense because we don't want to run play after play and slow the game down. We want to be able to force turnovers, play aggressive defense, make it tough for the other team. If they make tough shots to win the game, that's just how the game is. But it's just trying to pick up the pace offensively and defensively.
Back here. Keegan, you had mentioned earlier that it didn't matter that you guys were 4-13 and these fans came out and cheered you guys on through overtime, through the end of the game, even when you guys were down by double digits. When you have a fan base like that who is starved for great basketball and still shows up and shows out regardless of what this team is going through, how, as players, does that make you guys feel? And how much does that inspire a performance like what we saw tonight?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think I've experienced how great this fan base can be when we're winning, and honestly, I haven't really experienced it when we're losing. When we have this kind of record, so it's been great. I remember I watched a video like a couple weeks ago of like our first run out of game 1 in the playoffs, and just to try and get that feeling back. I feel like this was somewhat of a feeling like that tonight. So I think I'm just trying to chase that.
Keegan, see you missed your first 15 games. You had a lot of time, to view and see what, your team was doing, even though it was a little bit of a struggle. Just, sitting there and watching them, did, you observe some things that, hey, once I get in there, I'm going to be able to handle some things and help this team win? Yeah,
I just think it was energy-wise. I think at times we're kind of trying to have them miss shots instead of force them to miss shots. I think my energy getting up and down the court in transition was something that I wanted to pick up when I came back, and just little things on the defensive end, blocking shots, getting offensive rebounds, those little things, and trying to shoot more threes because that's something that in the league is kind of a trend now with the good teams. And for us to win games, we have to shoot more threes, and we have a lot of good shooters on this team.
Keegan, there have been a bunch of nights already this year where this team didn't have that kind of fight. Tonight was I think the most fight this team's shown. Where did that come from? Did somebody say something, do something? Where did that collective energy and effort come from?
I mean, I feel like it was almost getting a monkey off our back. It was a long road trip. Obviously, I wasn't there for half of it, but we struggled a little bit on that road trip. So I think to get back home after winning in Denver, which was a big win, and having a night like this, crowd-wise was huge, and just keep moving forward. And I think that'll just hopefully progress us into a better record. Yep.
Hey, Debo, where, the fight that you guys showed tonight, some of that's been lacking, like at times. So where did that come from tonight with the group?
Been a hell of a start of a season, man. A lot of frustration, from losing, kind of getting embarrassed on the road. At home, it was on us to shift that energy, and, we got to come out and compete every single night, That's all it is, just pride. Everybody just pulling together through tough times, that's all it is.
DeMar, you had kind of a quiet first half, but huge second half. I think 24 in overtime in the second half, and the 15 and 15 from the stripe. Just how much do you need to be that player right now, especially with DeMar out, that can help carry the load, the scoring load?
I mean, I've been that for a long time now. So it's second nature to me. Just going out there, just want to win the game close. Just want to be in those moments, try to help my team out, try to do whatever I can do to help us, pull out a win. And, tonight was one of those nights.
DeMar, how much does having Keegan back kind of change the dynamic of your guys' game on offense?
It's everything, it's everything. Keegan is, key to this team. It's his team. He's one of those guys that's going to be very, very special in this league. And, he's showing it, with his dynamic play on both ends. He changes the game. When his confidence is high, the things he's able to do makes it a lot easier on us. So, it's pretty obvious.
DeMar, you referenced some of the bad losses earlier in this season. What does a win like this do for you guys, confidence-wise, culture-wise, identity-wise, as you look ahead? Is this one of those defining wins that kind of changes the tide?
Yeah, I mean, you hope so. That's what you go out there and thrive for. Take it one game at a time. The next game just as important as this game, and that's how we got to treat it. It don't get no easier for us, but we got to be ready for the challenge. And I think, that confidence is definitely coming.
DeMar, you guys are 48 of 51 from the free throw line over the last two games. I'm just wondering how important that is to your game personally, and then obviously to the team offensively and defensively, game plan-wise.
I mean, it's big. I don't know if you've seen us during training camp, the shooting competition that we did at the end of practice. If we had to make so many, if we didn't, we had to run. And guys got tired of running. So, just the concentration there and understanding the importance of the free throw line, it's just big for us.
DeMar, Doug talked a lot about identity this whole year leading into this, and it felt like that was a little unclear at times throughout this year. How much do you feel like you guys have gotten back to playing with an identity? And
I mean, we getting there. We just got to keep building on games and moments like this so we can establish, that identity. Now it's about being consistent. We was inconsistent too much. Now it's about turning that tide and being consistent. And once you're consistent, you'll be able to see that identity come up.
DeMar, when you're talking about Keegan, when you say he's a special type of talent, what type of player are you telling him he needs to be for this organization?
Everything. There's no limits on Keegan. None. And he shouldn't think there's any limits. To him, it's just, it's everything. the way he's able to score, get downhill, shoot the ball, defensively, the things he's able to do, you know, continue to grow on that. You know, he's young, he's special, you know, so that's what I mean by that. Just him knowing there's nothing he can't do on that court.
DeMar, you passed Alex English for 24th on the all-time scoring list tonight. Congrats on that.
Appreciate it.
How much does it mean to you to check off these, like, legends, you know, to pass them?
I mean, just being within that, you know, it really don't hit me until, like, later on where, you know, you realize, you know, it's only so many people ahead of you when it comes to scoring. But, you know, passing Alex English, it's special to me because he was my mentor my rookie year. He taught me a lot. I used to sit there and listen to him talk about his ability to score, and I learned so much from him. So to be able to be sitting here and be able to pass somebody that, you know, mentored me at 19 years old, you know, is definitely a cool thing.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Yep.
Hey, Doug, I know you've heard this crowd like that before, but just what does that mean for your team to have to have the crowd come out when you guys are walking in here 4-13 and carry you guys home like that?
It says so much about the people of Sacramento, man. I love them dearly. I think that our team will begin to understand who they are. They come and they bring it all the time. And what they ask for is that you pour your heart out on the court, and that's not too much to ask for. And for our guys to play like that, it makes you happy and excited to see our fans be able to get that vibe. It's a good vibe.
Doug, DeMar was just in here a second ago, and he said that Keegan is kind of the key to this team and that it's his team. Do you kind of think along the same lines that Keegan is, as Keegan goes, the Kings go?
Yeah, I think that Keegan he's a special player, man. I mean, because when you have the ability to do so many different things and affect the game in so many different ways, like scratch the 26 points, that kid went and got 15 rebounds, and he guarded the best player in the post and on the perimeter. So he guarded their big man, and he guarded their guard. Like, what are you going to do? Then he knocks down big shots. Just really good stuff, man. Really good stuff. Super proud of and for him because he's put in work. You know, he has the hand. He gets it handled, stays in shape, stays locked in, and comes back and contributes. And he does it in a spectacular way that is very Keegan-esque. Yeah.
Doug, 8:34 to go. You burned the final timeout on that challenge. You're down 12 at that time. And then the fight that your team showed, like, from then on was, you know, I don't think we've seen that yet this year. How proud of you, how proud are you of the fight you saw tonight? And where did that come from and when we haven't always seen it?
You know, it's, I thought we saw it in Denver. And I said defense creates offense. And there's a magic in there. I know everybody doesn't, you know, defense isn't sexy and all these different things, but defense means that you're saying no, and we're going to stand our ground. And that's tough because everyone got to be on the same page. That means whatever the coverages are, and then when it breaks down, everybody got to be willing to scramble and give second and third efforts. That's a high level. So for me to watch them do that is super exciting. You know it's there, but to see it consistently, that's the sign that you're looking for, and you keep building on it day by day.
Doug, it goes without saying that there's been some struggles early in the season, some bad losses and whatnot. This team tonight came out and fought like it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals. To see a win like that, what does that do for a team like this, where you have a mixture of young guys trying to find their identity, veterans? What does a win like this do for this team, the identity, the culture, and is this one of those wins that can flip the page kind of going forward?
I mean, you have to stay with the consistency of what you do, obviously. But these are the things that help to build and create the identity of fight and determination and all the little tiny things that equal the big thing. So for us, it's huge because when you, in the big scheme of things, this is another team win. You know, it's not just like, oh, one guy and, oh, no, this is, you know, DeMar, you know, hats off, 24th, Alex English. I mean, you passing Alex English in anything, you're doing some work. But, you know, Keegan comes up big. Russ comes back in the game. Malik comes up big. Precious, like, you go down the line. Dennis, like, just on and on. Malik, every minute that everyone played, there was something that they did to contribute to the win. And that's what teamwork is all about. It's not going to be perfect. People are going to make mistakes, but it can't be from the effort standpoint. And that was spectacular tonight. I commend them. Yeah, big time.
More than 80 combined points from in the paint and at the free throw line. How essential is that to your guys' game, and what's the key to generating those paint touches?
Well, you know, whether it's a paint touch off of you know, swinging the basketball, advancing the basketball early in the game. We had some kick-aheads. You're getting at the 45. You're touching the paint. Or you have the ability to, you know, set up screen and roll, and all of a sudden you create an advantage. Now you touch the paint. Once we're touching the paint, a key with a team like this is you do not want to get too deep because they are so big that all of a sudden the passing angles go away. So as soon as you touch the paint, you have to get off the basketball, and guys were willing to do that. And when that happens, all of a sudden you start to generate some offense because now once that ball is kicked out, you got them in closeout situations. Guys are now driving it again, swinging the basketball. When you do that, you put them very handsy, and you can get to the penalty. And once you get to the bonus, then you get to the free throw line and you knock them down. I mean, between Keegan and DeMar, 18 for 18, DeMar 15 for 15. Like, you know, if you're going to shoot 28 free throws and knock down 26, you're going to give yourself an opportunity to win, and that's what we did tonight.
Coach, you were out of timeouts with like 8 minutes and some change left. What was the message to the team at that point?
Just, you know, to continue to fight. You're trying to find rhythm. You're trying to find combinations. You're trying to find an offensive flow. But what my probably biggest conversation was with them is it's all about stops and rebounding the basketball. If we get stops and we rebound the basketball, we can go score the ball. But we really have to make sure that we're getting stops and rebound. And Precious came up with some big ones. Keegan came up with some big ones. And then all of a sudden we're out in transition and we're finding our way. But it was mostly about defense, trying to get stops, because that's the reason that you're using your timeouts, unfortunately, because it's not about the offense. Normally it's about the defense. And they responded in a big way.
Coach, there was a distinct toughness and really flexibility with the front line of Precious, Keegan, and Max. I'm curious how that helps your defense. Keegan mentioned you can switch 1 through 5, and how you like that combination. You know,
like Max, for a young player, I just continue to watch him grow, and his ability to communicate on the floor is at a high level. Then he's willing to go 1 through 5, try to keep a guard in front of him, understand where his help is at, send him that way, be physical. Keegan and Precious just continues to impress, his ability to switch and communicate. I can't say enough about Keegan. Keegan guards everybody on the floor, you know, from the point guard to Rudy Gobert. And that's a special gift and a willingness of a teammate to sacrifice of themselves, because as somebody who did that, I know that on that end of the floor it can be quite taxing. And then for him to go on the other end of the floor and still find his way, just coming back now, his third game was really big. But the ability to switch across the board helps us keep people in front of us. And it's something that we will look to do going forward when we have the ability in the matchups.
Doug, this kind of goes back to Kevin's question, but you know, you look around the NBA and you see a lot of empty arenas for teams that have struggled. For you as the head coach, for your players, do you think that kind of the the abnormality of Sacramento is lost on some of the players and their ability, the fans to just show up even during tough stretches? Or
I agree with him. He looked at you when you said abnormality. I'm like, whoa, what's abnormal about Sacramento?
well, they show up when their team is playing.
Listen, because they love basketball. They love this team. And that passion should be gifted in a way that's where my passion comes from. When we hit the floor, we got to give it up, man. You got to give it, and that's what they did. To our guys' credit, they gave it up, and that's what these fans deserve, and it's a beautiful thing to watch because there's a synergy between this team and this city that they just waiting for it to happen, and super excited to watch it. It's a special thing. This arena hasn't necessarily took on its identity yet. Arco had its identity. This one is still defining itself as this ball club is setting an identity at the same time. And when that clicks together, it's going to be a beautiful thing to behold. Appreciate y'all. Yep. Thank